Why are these people turning yellow, violet, and red? Why is this man running in circles with a stuffed stork? Why is this cat wearing sunglasses? What can a cat wearing sunglasses teach us about art, truth, and authoritarianism? I want to answer these questions through the 1963 movie The Cat Who Wore Sunglasses. But before you click off, don't worry, you don't actually need to watch the movie. Thank you, Ria. I'll give you a summary. There isn't any spoilers, and you'll be able to appreciate the depth. Do I keep that? I think I keep that. And you'll be able to appreciate the depth and the meaning of this movie without even watching it. But actually go watch it just after this video. These videos are made possible by the generous support of viewers like you. If you also want to support and appear in the credits at the end of each of my videos for as little as 90 cents per month, check out patreon.com/thecanvas. Thank you. Part 1. A summary. Alright, so I'm going to make a pretty in-depth summary of this movie because I know most of you haven't seen it and probably won't. We're introduced to the city by the storyteller Oliva. Through this introduction, you see, among other things, kids doing graffiti with blue paint. We're quickly introduced to Robert, the main protagonist of the story, and finally, this introduction is interrupted by the flight of a stork. Robert, an artist and a teacher, films the bird. His superior, the director of the school, accompanied by the janitor, shoots it down, although it's a protected species. This creates a commotion, and Robert criticizes the director for killing the stork. We're now presented with a protagonist and an antagonist. Back in the classroom, Robert invites comrade Oliva, the storyteller, to draw from reality. Very quickly, however, the children don't draw Oliva, but the story he's telling them. He tells them that while he was a sailor, he survived a wreck, and after being washed up on a shore, he went to a nearby village where he saw a group of performers which carried around a cat wearing sunglasses. He was told to never take the cat's sunglasses off, but he did. The cat's gaze made people take colors according to their natures and deeds, he said. It made liars, Pharisees, hypocrites, snitches, careerists, and liars violet. It made the unfaithful yellow. It made the snatchers and thieves gray. And it made the ones in love red. The director and the janitor put a stop to Oliva's attempt at stimulating the children's imagination, the director saying, "Imagination is never fantastic." However, the altercation is quickly interrupted by none other than the music of a circus who are to perform in the town. Believe it or not, this group of performers, led by a magician who looks exactly like Oliva, is carrying a cat with sunglasses. Later, the magic show is presented. Everybody loves it when it shows inoffensive tricks. However, when the performance targets specific events in the town, depicting the violent director, the submissive janitor, and the artist, people start getting uncomfortable.
Wait, is this fucking play about us?
Then, later in the show, Diana, the acrobat, changes the trajectory of the town forever. She reveals the cat's eyes. The unfaithful turn yellow, the liars turn violet, the thieves turn gray, and the lovers turn red. There's love, shame, fear, and all these emotions turn the evening chaotic. In this chaos, Murek, that's the cat, is lost. So the next day, the town looks for the cat. Kids love Murek. The adults, or at least the authoritarians, don't. They want to kill it. So both the kids and the authoritarians look for Murek. After learning that the kids found the cat, the director orders Robert to get Murek from the children and bring it to him. When Robert learns of the director's plan for the cat, he protests, but the director threatens to fire him and argues that the cat is turning the children against citizens. Feeling guilty, Robert tries to save Murek, but he gets caught and loses his job, so the children decide to take the matter into their own hands. They first paint banners on the roofs where they can't get caught, and protest in the city by plastering them everywhere. Then, they disappear. Their parents and the adults generally look for the town's kids and finally start doing a little bit of introspection. The janitor first takes the blame for being a bootlicker, understanding that his role in the capture of Murek made the children disappear. When the janitor starts criticizing the director, he's inexplicably struck by lightning. In the end, the director makes Robert speak to the kids, understanding that they'll listen to him and him only. The children come back wanting to see Murek, which the director first opposes. Then the circus is back. Murek is with it, revealing the colors of all townsfolk, including the director, who turns out to be a chameleon. Part 2. Authority. As you may have understood from the summary alone, the movie heavily criticizes authority. Before getting into how it does that, it may help to put the movie in a little bit of very simplified historical context. Very quickly, this movie is part of the Czechoslovak New Wave. I watched a couple of movies from this New Wave, but honestly, in my opinion, none came even close to the genius of the cat who wore sunglasses. Czechoslovakia was a member of the Warsaw Pact, which was a group of state communist nations led by the Soviet Union. In the 60s, Czechoslovaks demanded more and more freedoms. Artists especially demanded more freedom of expression and less state censorship. Much of the New Wave's themes criticize and satirize authority figures which are often old, incompetent men. Socialism with a human face became a popular slogan associated with Alexander Dubček, the leader of the Communist Party of Czechoslovakia. He advocated for more freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of travel, accepting political parties other than the Communist Party, and the will to experiment with a mix of market economics with the current planned economy. All this led to the 1968 Prague Spring, when Dubček was elected as leader of the Communist Party. A couple of months later, countries of the Warsaw Pact invaded Czechoslovakia, an event greatly documented by the photographer Josef Kudelka, who was in Prague during the invasion. So, The Cat Who Wears Sunglasses positions itself firmly in the Czechoslovak New Wave, being made only 5 years before the Prague Spring. Its criticism of authority can be seen all throughout the movie, sometimes quite overtly, as seen when the townsfolk get searched by the police.
Nemohl byste nám ukázat, co máte v tom vaku? No jako kouzelník byste to mohl vědět. Promiňte mou nedůvěru. Nevadí. Na nedůvěru jsme u nás zvyklí.
Kdo má čistý svědomí, nemusí se bát. Mňau. Mňau. Mňau.
Aha. Ihahaha. Ihahaha. Co říkali páni?
However, the most valuable criticism of authority is made mainly by positioning the authority figure, the director of the school, as the antagonist. This authority figure is introduced to us through the killing of the stork, a protected bird which the director justifies killing because he has special permission to do so. After being criticized by Robert, he uses his authority to put the teacher back in his place, threatening him more than once to take his job away. He later leads the hunting party to kill the cat, and when the cat is captured, he holds a meeting to decide what to do with it. During this meeting, he comically hides his authority behind a false pretense of democracy.
Předem upozorňuji, že jako veřejný činitel nehodlám nikoho ovlivňovat, protože nejsem ani pro někoho, ani proti nikomu. Jde mi pouze o to, aby se v našem městečku neopakovaly známé skandální scény a nebyli ostouzeni řádní občané.
Trhnout mezi dveřma.
Ale tak prosím, kulturně, příteli, kulturně.
The janitor, also authoritarian, later takes the blame for the disappeared kids. He feels remorse for being a bootlicker and enabling the director's actions.
Já jsem vyváděl Robertovi ty největší nepříjemnosti, ale hlavně jsem podlejzal. Promiňte, ho nevidíte. No a potom se divte, který děcko by vydrželo s takovýmhle tátou.
The director dismisses the criticism.
Chybovali jste, soudruzi, ale je vám odpuštěno. A teď se musíme všichni semknout.
Moment. Školník říkal něco o tom paktování.
Ale to tak, Mariánko, už ho nevláče na veřejnosti, vidí, že má zvýšený komplex viny. No, ten by to ještě nabreptal.
Jenať breptá.
Nechte mluvit školníka. Ano. Jestli mi věříte, dobře.
When the janitor speaks up again, this happens.
Já mluvit budu i měl přímo chleba!
This mysterious lightning, which inexplicably strikes down dissent, is perhaps the clearest metaphor for the incredible, perhaps divine power men in authority can give themselves. However, my favorite criticism of authority in this movie plays on the themes of truth and art. All right, so for this part, I'm supposed to be in the same way that Diana is, which she's lying down. You can see from like her feet to her head. For me, I can't lay down because this place is too small, and you can't see my legs because I'm too tall. So it's gonna look as it's gonna look. Hopefully the effect works. All right, part 3, truth and art. The relation that authoritarians have to truth has been studied and commented on, both in recent years and in the past. The Cat Who Wore Sunglasses comments on truth, freedom, and anti-authoritarianism in many ways, and one of these ways really resonated with me. It criticized the authoritarian conception of truth through art and through the concept of art. Let me explain. The Cat Who Wore Sunglasses is a work of art that criticizes the authoritarian conception of truth. But within this work of art, art is used to reveal lies. It's very meta. The first confrontation at the beginning of the movie between the libertarian protagonist and the authoritarian antagonist is quite literally a conversation on truth and the different conceptions of it.
No vidíte, že ne. Ostatně já jsem se ještě zcela nevzdal, že vás přivedu na správnou cestu, která je jenom jedna jako pravda, že?
No, zvláště je-li to vaše pravda.
Moje pravda? Co tím chcete říci, že každý máme svoji pravdu? Mladíku, co to máte za ideu? Na to pozor!
Omluvte mě, soudruhu řediteli.
Prosím.
And then this happens.
Pravo, soudruhu učiteli?
Prosím?
Řekl jsem vpravo.
Pravo.
The director tells him to go to the right of the hallway, and Robert, turning around, goes to his right, which is the director's left. Robert then goes to class and discusses truth with his students. The most beautiful things in the world, he says, are friendship, honesty, and not to bend to other people's will. Truth and honesty are positioned as central themes in this movie. The very next scene shows the first instance of criticism of the authoritarian's conception of truth through art. The director, after almost being caught cheating, is presented a stuffed stork. They see it as a work of art, and they congratulate themselves for collaborating in the creation of this masterpiece. The director then asks the janitor to run around in circles to make the illusion perfect.
Svých možností kružte.
Jak prosím?
Kružte, ať je iluze dokonalá.
Takhle myslíte?
Tak.
Jako živý, co?
It makes for a pretty long yet hilariously absurd scene. And as the stork's corpse is paraded around the director, his wife, and his mistress, you realize that the stuffed stork is a lie. It's the perfect metaphor for the authoritarian lie. The director shot a living stork dead, stuffed it, and made his servant animated. The director, in this way, controls life, but can only do so by killing it. This scene, which may be my favorite in the movie, is abruptly interrupted like this.
Tak, děti, dnes budeme malovat podle skutečnosti. Tady soudruh Oliva vám bude sedět, jak se říká, modelem.
I don't know exactly how accurate this translation is, but Robert here doesn't say draw reality, but draw from reality, meaning take inspiration from reality without necessarily mimicking it, or worse, killing it. Oliva, the storyteller, is the model, but very quickly you realize that drawing from reality doesn't mean drawing the model. What the children do is draw the model's story, his experiences, particularly the cat who wore sunglasses. Later in the movie, when the director tries to teach the kids that taxidermy is an artistic endeavor, the kids are not interested at all. The difference in the conception of art of both the authoritarian and the libertarian is starkly opposed. One is about reproducing reality, being willing to kill it to try to achieve the perfect illusion. The other is about delving into imagination, explore human stories and experiences, and reveal the truth. I think Diana at one point does this. I don't know if you can see my legs. Can you?
Yeah, but not your foot.
Not my foot? Well, that works. Art revealing the truth is best represented not through the children's drawings, but through the circus's performance. The magician's performance reveals the truth about the recent situation in the town, which makes the director uncomfortable. But it does so interestingly through illusions, through lies. It's confronting us with the truth through lies. Murek, however, confronts us with the truth without any lies and exposes not only the liars to themselves, but to others. This is the reason why he's so dangerous. Finally, I want to talk about the role of Oliva in the movie. Not only does he open and close the movie, is the first to tell the children about Murek, and is the one who hides the children from the adults, he is also the magician. They are presented as two different people played by the same actor. But why? Isn't that odd? Oliva and the magician serve the same role. They're storytellers, they're artists, and they guide us through the story. Just as the magician does through illusions and unbelievable magic tricks, Oliva reveals the truth through an unbelievable story. We are, when watching the movie, in the same position as the townsfolk when they watch the magician. This is how the movie ends.
Bylo, nebylo, ale spíš by mělo být.
Art can reveal our flaws, our hypocrisy, and can be used to denounce injustices and the concentration of power in the hands of a few. The Cat Who Wore Sunglasses shows examples of the potential of art when it comes to truth, and is, in itself, an example of exactly that. Conclusion: a generational gap. Though this video and this movie is about art, truth, and authoritarianism, I would regret publishing it without talking about what really made me adore this movie. Yes, these themes are super important to me, as you may imagine, but the context in which I watched this movie made me appreciate it for a whole different reason. I watched it on the 31st of December, at the same time as year reviews were coming out. These year reviews all had pretty much the same tone. The world is doing really, really bad, especially when it comes to climate change. 2023 was by far the warmest year ever recorded. In December, a Quebec poll was published and revealed the state of our politics at the end of the year. Without getting too much into it, the statistic that got to me the most was this one. Québec Solidaire, which is the most left-wing party in Quebec and the one who puts the most emphasis on fighting climate change, is the party whose support is the most concentrated in an age group. 40% of Quebecers under 35 would vote for Québec Solidaire. However, it only garners 14% of the popular vote in Quebec, most importantly, because it only gets 5% of the support from Quebecers who are 55 and up. There's no better indicator of the extreme generational gap in politics, or at least Quebec politics, than this poll. When I watched The Cat Who Wore Sunglasses, I couldn't help but focus on the fact that it depicts a generational gap, with some exceptions such as Oliva and Robert, though Robert does get close to bending the knee to the director. The children are artists, they're rebels, they strike, they do graffiti. The first time we see children in the movie, they do graffiti. Let's look at the scene.
Zuzanka, ta by malovala od rána do večera, ta malinka se taky snaží. Jindřiško, slyšíš mě? Tak mi řekni, proč maluješ modrou.
Nemám jinou barvu, strejdo!
No proč ne? I Picasso měl modrou éru.
Maybe this video is getting too long and I'm looking too much into it, but this girl can only use blue paint. That's all she has. Oliva mentions Picasso's blue period. I made a video about Picasso's blue period, but as you probably already know, his blue period is a sad one of hopelessness and melancholy. I can't help but believe that the children only being able to paint in blue reflects the way they feel about the world and, especially, the adults who surround them.
Říkáme si ve škole, že nejkrásnější na světě je upřímnost a přátelství. Ale někteří lidé říkají nepravdu,
Táto se mi
až to
nelíbí,
volá do
ale to
nebes.
tam nenapíšu,
Ale tam to slyší
protože by mi
pouze
nařezal.
astronauti.
The kids love Murek, not because he's a cat, there are other cats in the movie, but because he reveals the hypocrisy, the lies, the artificiality, the disingenuousness of the generation who's building a world for them, a world filled with customs, habits, and hierarchical power which are harmful to them and their future. Art can inspire us to express ourselves and interpret the world. Art can inspire us to question ourselves and our actions. And art can make us act to challenge, provoke, and fight. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you Axel, Roman Brandel, X-Towns, Jonathan, and all my other patrons for supporting the channel. If you also want to help out, leave a like, subscribe, and check out patreon.com/thecanvas. Thank you.